So thank you very much for joining this session. It's an incredible event. I saw so many young people and so many joining outside. It was a gentleman coding for the last half an hour. I was looking to him carefully if he's changing his position. He stayed in the same position, and initially I thought that he is, well, watching a movie because he was not changing at all. And after half an hour, I passed through his back to see what he's doing. He was coding and he was programming. Wow, it's not something unusual. And practically, the presentation I prepare for this afternoon is related to how we are using the technology, how we are putting the things together. My name is Serban Zirnovan. I am the solution manager for Dell in a region which is called Central Emerging Europe. Don't ask me why it's called like that. It's every American company loves acronyms, and this is why we get to this conclusion. But this region starts from east part from Kazakhstan, through the whole CIS, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, the Adriatics, Hungary, Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia, and also Iceland. When you are saying central and you are looking to Iceland, yes, Iceland is in the middle of the ocean, so it's also a center part. Iceland is a very, very nice country. I used to joke with my colleagues representing the distributor there, saying that this is the best place ever for a data center. If you want to heat up a little bit the things, you just talk with the chimneys and they get a little bit more steam. If you just want to cool down the things, you open the doors and it's already done. But what I prepare for today, it's a journey from where we start, what we want to do, and how we want to go forward. Now, if you remember people like me, not too many in the room audience, people with a lot of gray hair. Initially, we start from a solution which was called mainframe. And that mainframe was a superb thing. Suddenly, we start working with a tool which was, helping us to do some stuff. It was secure because it was only one, and nobody else can touch it. And if you remember the IT administrators from those days, they were like semi-gods. Nobody can touch the IT administrator. It was strongly connected to the world, to the business. Then, well, the situation evolved a little, and we start using something which is called x86. And x86 technology, the service technology, it's a very interesting one because it's coming with something which is called ease of use. And suddenly Microsoft starting to develop some tools, Linux started to develop some tools, Solaris started to develop some tools specific for the x86 center. It's still somehow secure because we can connect those kind of information into only one specific data center, but it is not enough. Because if I'm currently looking to a couple of you, I see some mobile devices checked in the back. My colleague Bella doing probably a configuration for one of the customers here in Lithuania. And the phone ringing, which says that someone needs to get into connection with you. Suddenly become from everywhere. Atletico de Madrid works, yes. Yeah, I saw it. I saw my colleague there. And we had a debate last evening who is going to win, if Barca is going to win. Of course, I lost the bet. I am a supporter of Barca, so thank you, Maurizio. You managed to ruin my life tonight. But it's again, when we watched the game last evening, we hadn't used a TV set. We use it on a small tablet. And of course, you start to get into connection with people and to put the things together. And if you are looking to your devices practically, what you want to do is to get access anytime, everywhere, in any moment. Right? That's interesting, because if this was not enough to get mobile phone communication, text messaging, pictures, stuff like that, we are going even further, and we put a new layer which is called the cloud management. Management is about the magic, sorry. So what is the cloud for you? A bunch of servers. Anya dropped me this morning one of her very interesting notes. She said, is the space in space? Okay. Any other opinion? Servers, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it is for me. I'm a father of two, and we have a very nice family based in Bucharest, Romania. And usually when I go home, which is not very often, we have around 4 mobile phones, around 3 tablets, 3 laptops, 4 laptops from time to time, 3 game console, 1 printer, what else? A monitor connected. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar. And you need to see the pictures from the last holiday. If you strongly believe that this is something which worth to invest your money in, I do agree with you. So the first question I will have for you is, have you done your backup? Really? It's an option. But usually when I'm asking if you have done your homeworks and you've done your backup, it's the same as, have you tried to restore the information from there? And again, is about the multitude of things. Let's jump to another example. I'll get back to my family one immediately. Have you changed your mobile phone in the last 2 years? Have you recovered all of your contacts easily? That's interesting. I should keep my hand down. It was a tremendous exercise moving to one platform to another platform. It was like scratching my head asking why the main contact or the main phone contact for my mom is no longer that one, is a new one. Nobody knew how to explain to me, but demonstrate that the importance of this kind of stuff, of how we are connecting it, is not longer an enterprise business, or is not longer only the system administrator business. It becomes every single one of us business. Now, I've learned into the past that when you start talking with the customers, and I'm happy to tell you that usually I'm traveling quite a lot and I have the opportunity to speak with many people. The first thing they are mentioning when they are starting to discuss is not about how beautiful servers they have in the data center. I hadn't heard anyone saying this. I hadn't heard actually anyone being, well, there are some people which have some very interesting tattoos with a specific brand. I'll encourage you to do a search in Google, tattoo with whatever brand you want, and you'll be amazed how people can think from time to time. But the thing that they always are concerning is their information. I get concerned whenever this information is no longer my information private and become public. And if I can't control it, this is creating me headaches. But additional to this one, you have information which is stored on simple device like that Android device, which actually has to carry right now a multitude of tasks. It's your mobile phone, your messaging system, your email system, your camera, video camera, GPS navigation, internet browser, help me, Twitter device, video player, how can I forget something like that? Office software, thank you very much. So, and it starts to expand. And the first question you have here is, can you separate the information from being your own personal data versus the corporate data? How you're going to manage it in a way in which will not expose you if you forget somewhere that device? The UK probably is the most open from the nations when they are going to report how many lost computer, forgot computer, stolen computer are every single year happening in Heathrow Airport. It's more than 90,000 devices per year. Imagine what, and I challenge you to check again, what do you have in your mobile phone or in your tablet, because usually you'll be amazed about what you can find out from a simple device like that, which, believe me, is not at all protected. And comes to the new idea of mobility, of integrating, of putting the right people at the right moment in the right time. Sounds familiar? Do you have all your users in the same room, all your colleagues running together with you? The beauty of working in this position allowed me to have colleagues in Bucharest office, in Zagreb, Croatia office, in Budapest, Hungary office, here in Vilnius, in Lithuania, some colleagues in Kiev, in Ukraine, and some of them in Kazakhstan, in Almaty. Now imagine that when my colleague Nikolai Sushilnikov is waking up in Almaty, probably Vladimira Silkova is going to sleep, or vice versa, because the difference in time is pretty much between them. And you always try to get those people to share the same information, and suddenly is moving to something which is much more flexible, much more easy to understand. There are some notes here, some numbers, and one I really favorite is the last one, because this means that 21% of the company either don't know, either don't recognize that they have an attack, a cyber attack. And it's not something which we are joking each and every single day. It's something which you will see happening almost in every single company. It's very difficult to confirm, yes, I had a security breach and something happened. By the way, you probably heard that Microsoft decided finally to stop the support for Windows XP, right? Probably you don't know, but 95% of the ATMs in US are running Windows XP. Pretty scary movie. 95%. More than 30% of the computers running today in Europe are using Windows XP. This is opening a very interesting breach of security, and you know, if you are a hacker, this is probably the first, how to put it, mass of focusing your attack, because you have a significant amount of devices running that specific software. Do you think this is happening only to the end customer device? There are still companies, because the ATM is not a private device, there are still companies which are still using Windows XP as their operating system, opening the gates for whoever want to exploit their systems. And this is something more which you are used to show, because there are some, you know, every single time you are discussing about the need of the storage, everybody said you have to invest because your data is growing every single time. And I will do challenge to do as I did at home. And I decided for a moment in time, you know, to help my wife with her IT needs. Probably sounds familiar to the majority of us. Your spouse, your friends, your mom, your dad, someone, yeah? And my wife has a very nice habit, saving all the documents in only 2 folders. It's either my documents folder, either... Thank you. So I'm, you know, every single time I'm giving this example, I'm happy that she's not alone. We have some additional colleagues which are doing absolutely the same. Trying to ask her, you know, she's a CFO of a company, and I tried to ask her several times to decide what is relevant as information and what not, in order to be able to allow her to get some more space, guess where? On drive C. Because if the drive C is full, the operating system is not able to do the swap. So suddenly all your computer is running like a very old machine. So I tried, and she said simply, you either decide to move something from my computer, or you sleep outside. I decided to sleep inside, so I didn't touch her computer for a period, but she was still complaining that this is not working. So I had the opportunity to travel for 3 weeks in a row, and I said, I will not be at home. So I simply moved some of the data from her computing to an USB drive and leave it there without telling her. I get home from time to time, she didn't react anything, and I'm still traveling, I didn't get any complaints. So actually she was not looking to this one. If you are looking to how many times you are opening a file after you created, you will see that probably in the 70% of the cases you are not opening again the same file. Which means that you just have to store it somewhere. And to store it somewhere, there are things which can help us. The decision to develop new technologies to support our requirements was probably best described by Michael in the statement you can read behind me. And it's about allowing us to do things in a much more simple and much more easier way. Because the way how the enterprise are built today are around simple devices which needs to be connected to the internet. You know, when I saw the first time the BOID acronym, you know what it stands for, yeah? I definitely was convinced that it's about bring your own Dell. There is no reason why to bring something else than a Dell device in your enterprise. What's the purpose to bring something else? After several years of discussion regarding the concept and regarding what the bring your own device stands for, I realized that it's a little bit much more complex, because it's bring your own network. You have a Bluetooth which is connected to several one. We discussed yesterday with Maurizio that Bluetooth can definitely influence your Wi-Fi network, and that Wi-Fi network cannot work better because the noise generated by the Bluetooth connectivity can lower the speed you are connecting to it. Can means you bring your own application, because suddenly you are connected to an Internet of Things, and that Internet of Things will allow you to bring something new to the company, to your enterprise business. Or even further is bring your own data, because you will use your set of data to provide business goals, to understand what are the customers' behaviors in specific needs. So I'm not sure that bring your own device is not bring your own disaster. Sometimes looks like that if you are not carefully planning. Also is about how you are going to run your infrastructure. You see more and more software-defined whatever. Server. We have the software-defined server quite a significant time ago. You remember virtualization on server starts somewhere in 2005, and at that time I was a system engineer, and I was absolutely thrilled to find out that I don't have to carry 2 devices, one with Windows, one with Linux, to support my enterprise. Practically I had a single laptop with 2 different images. Superb, concept. Took some time, 2005, 2015, almost 10 years, to get to a maturity of implementing and the enterprise level. And right now we are speaking about virtualized software, sorry, virtualized storage, virtualized network. We are going to see this to happen in the near future, and it is not just a buzzword. Maybe you are saying that big data is a buzzword of these days, VDI is a buzzword of these days, but what we were really looking to demonstrate to you is that you can make your company flexible by using a new desktop tool. And this new desktop tool, which we can happily show you into our booth here, presenting with the guys from Profit, is this tool. This is your desktop. You plug it into a HDMI port. You're connecting a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard, secured with Sonic Wall technology, connected with Wi-Fi to a wireless network, and you simply get your desktop everywhere in the world in a secure way. Now, that is a definition of how to change the way we are doing and practically move us to an extension of how we are running the infrastructure. Because the infrastructure today has the same limits as our devices. We are running server from one manufacturer, storage from the other, network from the other. But when you are looking to your goals, and I'll provide you a simple example. I was in this morning in a discussion with a lady from Delphi. And she told me that she is one of the content provider in Lithuania for news. I said, absolutely great. And do you have some moments on your portal when you see an increase of the traffic for a specific subject, whatever that subject might be? And she said, of course. Would it be interesting at that moment to have an infrastructure which will align versus your requirements, meaning that you need right now more powerful resources for a proxy server, or you need more powerful resources for a firewall server, or you just need an SQL database which will suddenly start to crunch some numbers in order to provide a very interesting news, or to get some algorithms to understand better the implication of that specific information. That is an adaptive infrastructure. This is exactly what we are calling an extension of the data center. And we are doing this without necessarily looking to this has to be a Dell server or this has to be a Dell storage. And we will discuss in the next slide what it means. And the next two of them are what we're already discussing. Data, big data is not about a buzzword for crunching a large amount of set of information. For a manufacturing could be something like that. One of your production lot fails and you want to do the analysis regarding who were your suppliers, what happened, who was the shift who was actually assembling it, what happens in terms of environmentals, what happens in terms of security, what happens in terms of suppliers. So you are getting a large amount of set of data and you can get back saying, my lot, my spare part lot for this product failed because, not by suppliers send me some bad quality products, but because my environmentals were not according to the rules, or were not according to the parameters I need. It was too hot or too cold into the production facility to make them happen. And you, after that, you can analyze and say, that is not the whole lot. Maybe it's only about 5 products which needs to be identified and retrieved. Is about being more productive, is about being more agile and making much more money. The last but not least is about getting into security business and how we are allowing our customers, our partners, to interconnect between theirs. Maybe you know Dell producing laptops, desktops, notebooks, very nice products. I have one of them like here on the table. We have several of them in the entrance of the exposition, including hybrid one. XPS 12 being one of them, you know, when you have a tablet and you have also a computer, being very easy to use it. But what I intended to show in this picture is how we are interconnecting the intellectual property we acquired in the last 8 years. And this is a journey which starts with EqualLogic somewhere in 2007, 2008, and continued in this way. Because EqualLogic, if you see it here, is probably the first and only storage in this industry which has, in order to get an upgrade, has only one requirement: to have the same firmware over all members in it. And when you are adding the second member to your network, the capacity automatically grows, the performance automatically grow, and this is done without any intervention from an IT guy. This is done automatically behind it. We decided to include all the software from day one. You did it, you don't need it, it's there. You don't know what will happen in the next future. But we also decided whatever software we're going to develop for this kind of infrastructure, new tools for VMware integration, new tools from Microsoft integration, new tools to protect your information in a better pace, to be there from day one. It's the first cloud storage, and I think in terms of upgrading capability or flexibility of performance, it's an unmatched into the industry. Now we go even further and we said, this is a very interesting way of putting the things together. And we said, this is practically what our customers are looking for. How they're going to protect their information, how they're going to transform their data center regarding being much flexible, how they are going to do the connectivity between one information and the other, and last but not least, how we are going to help them to run the data they are currently having. And practically we start putting piece of a puzzle to build an end-to-end company, to build what we are calling today a simple and agile way of running your business. And we were looking also to demonstrate this to a, you know, if you are looking to Dell, this is practically in our view, this is an SMB company being able to direct our company and being quite a force in that space. And we were looking, again, what are our customers' problems? What are our customer issues? And we saw something like, you know, piece of information, piece of hardware, piece of lack of resources, complicated budgets, and so on and so forth. And don't tell me you hadn't seen something like that in your life. I have another picture which I decided not to put it, and here somewhere was a very nice fan which was doing the environmentals, because that person didn't have the option to do it. Is about building technology in a way which you can. I remember I was invited 2 years ago by a professor in university to present me his high-performance computing cluster. I was pretty happy and I was prepared there to see, you know, a data center with a large amount of things. And there were 19 optiplexes, piled one on top of the other. And I said, what's in your mind? Why you use optiplexes? And he said, Serban, have you ever stayed close to a server? Plenty of time in my life. Is it not disturbing when that server is starting to create noise? Well, yes. Is it not disturbing when you have to plug in different kind of cables and that cable should be dedicated for a data center because in a different format? Yes, as well, you're right. What about, you know, what about heat dissipation? What about managing from remote distance? What about, bless you, what about things like that in which you have to be active. And I said, you have a very valid point, but I asked the next question. Why did you select 19 optiplexes to run your high-performance computing center? He said, the only switch I found is a 24-port switch. So obviously, this is why I get only 19 computing centers. Now, if you are looking to what is happening today in a small branch, remote office, or even a small company, you will get some servers which are required to be connected to some storage which should be plugged into a specific power supply which has a huge amount of cables. And if you haven't done anyone, have you tried to unplug the yellow cable to see what is happening? You are in my world. I tried several times to see how many will riot and how many times they are going to throw in me with rotten tomatoes or stuff like that. You'll forget at a moment in time what it is, unless you are properly labeling it. But again, it's quite complex, and 1, 2, 3, 4 servers multiplied by 2 power supplies plus the storage, another 2 power supplies, plus the switch, another several power supplies. So you have a bunch of cables connected. We decide to make it simple, and I really invite you to show you into the booth we have here outside together with our partners to demonstrate how easy it is to run it, how simple it is to put this thing together. And I don't ask you to trust me, trust them. Because everybody here says the same thing. It was the most revolutionary idea of 2014 to bring in the market. It has 4 blades servers. Now those servers can have, each of them we have up to 2 processors. Quite a significant amount of RAM for each of them. You'll get up to 48 terabytes of data connected to these 2 servers in a simplified way. On the back there is a switch, which today is either 1 gig, either 10 gig, or can be a pass-through, wondering why you need it, but that's it, that's a different story. 4 power supplies working like a charm in a very nice way, and also some blowers. The beauty is that inside of the system you can add PCI cards to allow you to connect to your devices. So it's the data center under the box, and the reason why is the data center under the box is that this is the vacuum cleaner. This will be probably the refrigerator at home, and that's my beauty. We were together with our colleagues in Sofia yesterday, the day before yesterday, and we had a press conference, and someone, decided in the last minute to put such a system on the table. It was a T20, it was the entry-level version. And I start my presentation with the following: shh, we have a server in the room which is running, do not disturb it. This is the level of noise that a server can generate today. If you know what a server can generate, I do invite you to see what such a solution can do for your customers, for your media, for your part of your environment. And it's quite versatile. If you are looking here, I'll provide you probably 2 of my favorite example. One is Caterham F1 team, and that team decided to use the VRTX server in order to connect all the information from the cars on the track. This is online, and they need to tune the car in order to become more performant, and they are relying on such a technology. Another good example is from DS Nordic, one of the companies which decided to, well, they are in the ship industry, they are transporting huge amount of goods with large boats, ships, yeah? Do you think that they need to collect information regarding the sensors in the ship? For sure they need. They need to know how the engine is running, what is the velocity, do we have enough balance between front and back. Quite a large amount of information. And they install on each and every of those boats, ships, used to install large data center. When they find about this one and they realize the economic in power, the economic in noise, and the size of it, they simply said this is one of the best solution we ever have it, and we wanted. I can provide you examples in every single one here in probably in the branch offices being the most of them, or for instance in a retailer shop where you have the barcode scanners, you have the POS, you have the surveillance, you have the people getting in and out from your suppliers. Very important information you want to protect there, and should be connected in real time because you want to connect to the internet to transfer the money from the bank account. So it's quite significant what you can do to it, and comes together with the integration services, come together with the performance you requested, because we always are saying the same stuff. Do test before you buy. We can help you to understand your needs. We have a solution which is called Dell Performance Analyzing Capacity Kit. This is a tool you start running on your infrastructure, collecting information, helping you after to size exactly what is needed. And with such tools, which are royalty free for use for your environment, we are looking to help you to gather what is really needed, not what you think is needed. So because we decided to implement it in servers, we are looking also how the storage will be addressed. And usually when you are talking with a company about the storage part, it will start telling you how difficult it is to predict what you have. We decided to create a system which will move the data based on how many times you access it, how many times you want to change it, for how long you want to keep it, and we put this information from the server level to the networking and to the storage in a single simplified way to run it. And after that we look to see what do we need to run, what kind of information we need to run. Is this about performance? Is this about capacity? Is this about a mixture of them? We don't know. You know better. Our goal is to help you to do it in a way which will be more predictable. So practically, as you see, Dell changed from a technology provider into rather a solution provider, an end-to-end solution provider, because we never are going to talk to you about how to change your slow device. I'm not going to tell you, take my 3 servers, are excellent, and by the way, I have some switches, both of them excellent as well. I don't think you need something like that. I've been a couple of weeks ago in an IT CIO Council event in Bucharest, Romania, and all the IT manager I heard there were saying the same thing. We do not need one more server. We do not need one more storage device. We simply need a solution which will help us to do our task better or to do our task faster, not in the same time. If we can provide you a solution to get your report in 10 minutes instead of 24 hours, then that is something which we will happy to do it and happy to support it. Again, is about moving the way from you have a storage silo, you have a server silo, you have a networking silo, to something like, I need to administer this easy, fast, without any problem. Now, I want to thank you for this part, and you have something on the chairs. It's a simple, a small gift from us, and ready to take your questions if they are. because I promise you that we are moving to be a much more efficient company. I want to get back the 10 minutes, 15 minutes more to allow you to enjoy this event and to thank you again that you participate. Thank you.